It's the Odd Drunk Podcast, a very strange podcast. The drunkest show in the world. It's Jackson and Colton talking out of their ass. We don't care as long as drinks are poured. Sometimes we have our friends here. We will talk about anything. We don't care as long as we have beer. And if you let that whiskey ring. The Odd Drunk Podcast.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Odd Drunk Podcast.
Yo,
We are back after our break.
camera adjusted here. Yeah.
Cameras adjusted, microphones adjusted.
Uh,
I enjoyed Morning Oddities. That's just part of the main feed now.
yes.
Along with the Odd Drunk Podcast. If you're aware or care, we're going to be posting Morning Oddities every other week. We're going to be doing Morning Oddities and then Odd Drunk Podcast. We're going to try that out for a while.
Yeah.
So the main show is going to be essentially they're both on a bi-weekly schedule, but they're going to be intermediate every week. We're still going to have something every week. Okay.
Yeah. Every
And,
week we got content coming out.
It's just
It's gonna be good shit.
I don't want to get burnout even faster than I did last year or the last couple years.
Oh,
As it goes on, and as you've done so many things, not that there's plenty of topics to discuss, but as it goes on, you get to the point where like you're just churning out whatever. And we're gonna talk about churning out slop.
we're getting pretty up there in episode numbers. I think
190.
yeah.
Well, I'm a little confused now because Morning Oddities dropped. And that's the show where we just talk about whatever's on our minds. We just hang out and have a chat, okay? Nothing
let's
crazy there. If you just want a casual, if you don't care about whatever weird,
Yeah, so
thing.
for context, Michael Scott left the office on episode 148. So we're
Oh, yeah.
well into the post Michael Scott era.
Oh no. Sometimes it feels that way. Yeah.
Have we jumped the
anyways.
shark yet?
Oh, I've Jeffed the shark. I've been playing Marvel Rivals,
Nice.
and the game,
Yeah, yes, the game.
the big free-to-play game. That, everyone's been talking
The
about.
video game.
The
So
video-
for those of you who
video
are,
to game
who are in the dark here, there is a thing
called.
called video games.
It's where your
It's like
television
TV. Yeah, it's
has
like
you control
yeah,
the images on your television with a little mouse and keyboard,
yeah. And there's a
or
and
some
there-
controller.
and there is one of these video games
Or sometimes they can
that
be
is based off of
sometimes
it's based off of the Marvel comic book franchise.
yes, and if
Yeah.
you don't know, it's the one with Morbius in it.
More,
So
it's based off of the Sony.
it's based off of the
Okay, if they were to do
Sony Spider-Man universe
what
spin-off
if Sony were
universe.
to do a a video
like
game
their thing
based
Well,
off of their
the Spider-Man game.
Spider-Man
But
universe.
just that,
Yeah,
like
like
Madam Web,
like the
Morbius,
Venomverse.
like those characters. But that's it. That's all you get to play with.
all of
There's
it.
no greater universe to it. Everything's gray. Sounds great. Let's do it. Let's do another
Yes.
Suicide Squad.
It's Morbin time.
But no, I've been playing Rivals, and we're gonna leave most of this kind of chat for Morning Oddities. But I'm gold now, and I'm on my way to platinum as Storm.
Ooh, fancy boy.
Aurora Monroe herself, and
Nice.
underrated. Well, not an underrated character, but needs more screen time. Halle
Yeah.
Berry version was good, but
Yeah.
let's. I hope we get emphasis on those other characters in the new whatever they do with the X-Men.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, having a lot of fun with that, and pwning noobs occasionally, or more
Nice.
than occasionally, getting pwned as well by a rogue Spider-Man that swings in, or uh, crazy Iron Fist or something. Don't get Iron Fisted. It's not a good feeling.
No. I've
but but anyways,
that was that that was
anyhow,
that was what the
you
noise
have
came
a
from. I just got iron
antidote.
fisted. That's what that means.
Yeah,
I've been playing. Well, we'll talk about it more on Morning Oddities as well. I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I've been playing it a
enjoying
lot.
your
It's all I've been playing,
stay and
and it's
stuff
been
for.
it's been good. It's a fun
Is it
game.
as someone that found the first one a little janky and abrasive? Does it relieve some of those things, or does it
Yes. So,
dub,
well,
or
it
does it
dep
double down on some
it
things?
depends on how janky and abrasive you thought the first game was. If you played the first game and went, "This is cool, but it could have used more time in the oven,"
Yeah, yeah, I liked
then
the
then yes, they refined a
setting and
lot. They refined a lot of stuff. I mean a lot of simple stuff like when you're blocking and parrying in combat, it's not directional anymore. You don't have to read your opponent's movements and have directional
okay, so they
parrying.
did.
You just have to have the good timing.
Okay,
Um,
well, I
but
played Sekiro.
yeah. Um, and in general, the gameplay systems work more consistently as they are supposed to work than they did in the first
Right,
game. The game is a lot more refined. It runs better than the first game ran. I mean,
but the optimization
yeah.
itself. Yeah.
I've been playing it on the Steam Deck. I
Um,
have it on medium low settings and I have it locked at 30 FPS. It
nice.
has not once
That's
dropped
awesome.
below 30 FPS for me.
That's
On the other
awesome.
hand, though, if you played the first game and you thought this is not fun, what were they thinking? You're not going to like this one because they still stay true to like their
What's
vision
a
with the first game.
historical?
It's still meant to be like you still have to when you do the craft when you're crafting when you're blacksmithing in the game, you have to go to the anvil and hammer out the sword.
Right, I appreciate
You
that.
know, you have to
It
do
just
all these
depends how
things.
much time.
The combat, while it's refined and it's better, it's still at its core the same system. It's just more well thought out, I think, and
Mm.
more well refined. But it's still like they did stay true to what they want it to be. Um, I've been enjoying it.
No, I heard it's
Uh,
really the game they wanted to make in the first place if they would have
yeah,
had more budget
I've been
and
enjoying it.
time.
It's a good mix between like scratching that like Skyrim itch because
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of
scratching.
running around the world doing quests and stuff.
Speaking,
And also
we
at time.
talked about this last time, but speaking of scratching my Skyrim itch, yeah, just been playing Skyrim
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, scratch that Skyrim itch, just play
with
more
some
Skyrim.
with some mods, a couple of
Um,
mods.
but there's a lot of running around the world questing, and there's some legitimately funny moments in it. Just did a quest
Oh, I love the
where
jank.
you go and you find this camp full of soldiers that used to be part of the enemy army, but they're just wandering, and you have to convince them to not go back to this village because the villagers hate them.
Okay.
So
So
I ended up going down this rabbit hole where I got really drunk with them and was like stumbling through the forest singing with them and stuff. And it was very
that's
funny.
great.
You
No, I
you get a pet dog that follows you around, and there's
and
a
I
whole
heard that's
skill
important.
tree
I did see
about it.
something about yeah.
Yeah,
And I heard it, yeah, it just kind of lets you fumble your way through
there's a lot of
the
fumbling your way
missions.
through.
And it continue like there's no hard
Yeah, the combat, it's
lock or
like
anything.
it's still difficult, but it's like in the first game, it's
It's more
like you get fucked by every single
oh,
opponent that you
every
face
chance
basically
the
until
game
you're
can
like 30 hours in.
yeah.
This one, you still can get fucked very easily, but you
Yeah.
feel a little bit more competent at the get-go. Um, and also it has like it kind of scratches a good itch for me because it has element like with the crafting and
Mm.
there's a fun, simple dice game that you can gamble.
I always like that. Yeah,
And, there's fun like little mini games and side
the mini
activities to get
games.
you immersed in the world that it's at times takes on like a cozy game type
Oh
of
yeah.
attitude. Um,
Well,
but
even
yeah,
Like Final Fantasy VII does that, like
oh yeah,
all the mini games and like
I
just like
l-
the little fun immersive moments, like
I love
where you're
mini
having drinks at a
games.
bar or what,
Yeah, I love shit like that. Yeah,
throwing darts.
and there's little details that some people might find annoying, but I kind of like. So like if you go into a town and you just killed a bunch of bandits and Henry is covered in blood and mud,
Yeah.
and you go to the tavern and try to rent a room, the innkeeper will throw you out.
Yeah, one of the mods I have,
They'll be like, "No, get out of here, you
yeah,
fucking vagrant."
one of the Skyrim mods I have, in the Gates of Sovngarde collection, which I'd recommend if you want to get back into it again and you can run it.
Mm,
Um,
yeah,
it makes it where, oh, if you're dirty or bloody, you're gonna get worse bargaining
yeah.
prices. In fact, some innkeepers won't even have you. It hasn't gone as far as like it will just take away the dialogue option, right?
Uh,
But people make comments like, "Oh, you smell like a dog," or
yeah. You have to
you
like
look
take
sick."
care of your gear and your clothing
Yeah.
and stuff. So like I did it
Oh,
something.
is there like weapon degradation
Yeah.
and
And
uh,
it's not too unforgiving because like you can
okay,
just go to a grindstone
and then
and
sharp
fix your weapon.
fix
You
it.
don't have
Yeah.
to pay for that. You do have to like pay to have your armor and clothes fixed unless you like have a crafting skill to do it yourself. But
Hmm.
and there's still a mini game. You can if you don't do it right, you can ruin your sword at the grindstone, but it's really hard. Like it's
Right.
easy. It's not they didn't make it difficult or anything.
That's
But
great.
like I blacksmithed like 5 or 6 axes so I could sell them. So I
And
bought,
level up.
and I ended up losing money on it. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh,
Why?
okay.
Well, because I was making money on it before, and I was like, what the fuck? Why am I suddenly losing money on this? And then I looked at my inventory and realized that like the shirt I was wearing, its health, like its degradation was to 0, which meant to the NPCs, I was just this guy wearing like a ripped up, tattered shirt. So of course they were not willing to give me good prices.
This homeless guy
Yeah. And
shilling axes around.
it doesn't really show on your character physically show,
Okay.
which is I guess it would be nice if it did, but it's a
There'll be a
cool game
mod for
though.
that.
Yeah,
There'll be a
maybe.
mod for that.
But it's a
Wait,
cool game. I recommend it
yeah.
if you like that kind of
I
game.
no, I was looking at it, but yeah, I've been playing Skyrim again to scratch that itch. I'm in Bruma. I'm in the Bruma mod. I was like, let's go
Oh,
down
yeah.
south,
That's a good
and
one.
seeing the white gold tower and everything, and
Yeah.
obviously there's the invisible boundary because it's just that town section of
Yeah.
Cyrodiil. But still, it's cool to just get just a little tease, a little taste of what Sky Oblivion's gonna be like because they add
Yeah.
like goblins and centaurs, stuff that's native to Cyrodiil that you want to find in Skyrim. Like
Well,
you're not
there's
gonna,
the Bruma mod was like supposed to be part of a bigger project that was like recreating the rest of Tamriel
yeah, because I know
for Skyrim.
they wanted to do one that was like in Skyrim's timeline.
They
What would
did
Tamriel look like?
yeah, and I don't know if that mod project is still active. But the idea would be like it's not Oblivion remade, it's
No, it's just you
Cyrodiil
can go to
in
Cyrodiil.
yeah, like but
Yeah.
still in Skyrim's
Well,
timeline. They did release a second mod that mod team, which is at Mora, and it's supposed to be more like a dungeon crawl type of thing. And I've never played it, but I've heard it's good.
oh, I should look into that. But another thing I wanted to talk about just real quick before I get into our topic, Avowed is releasing
Right.
tomorrow as of recording this.
Yeah.
As this releases, I'll probably hopefully be playing it because it's on the Game Pass and I have the Game
Yeah.
Pass, the
I'm
Xbox Game Pass.
definitely
I'm
gonna want to hear
really
about how
excited
that
to try that
is.
one because it's Obsidian Studios doing a first person fantasy game.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Skyrim itch, but what I'm really looking forward to with it from what everything I've heard, it's not focused on one large, you know, AI or procedural generated world.
Hmm.
like trying to be as big as it could be, like or whatever. It is relatively large open zones,
Yeah.
multiple large open zones that you load into and that you travel to throughout the quest and whatever. But I've heard um from some reviewers that you can get 15 to like 20 hours of content just like from one zone, and they didn't even have access to the
Damn.
like city section of it, which was the majority of that area of the
Yeah.
map. And
That's
like
awesome.
zooming like the actual, so it's not like one continuous
Like,
map,
yeah,
but it's highly
they're like it's
so it's
separated
like if you had
zones,
the
but then they're also going, but don't worry, they're still really big zones.
no, yeah, it's like if the region, like the hold
Right. Yeah.
in Skyrim was its own map, and then you would have to load into the Rift, but they're highly detailed,
Yeah.
even larger than they would be normally because you're loading them in separately. It's not trying to brute force it.
I like that.
Um, and the Indiana Jones game kind of did that, where you
Hmm.
have these large open areas to explore, and you can do all these different little side quests along with the main story. Like I got in a fight club in Italy, um,
Nice.
as not Nolan, not Harrison Ford, the voice, Troy Baker's Harrison Ford.
Right.
Who he does a good job. It's not exactly, but
He,
it's convincing enough once
it's
you get into the game. It's you
it's yeah.
believe it. Um, and they didn't go AI voice route, or
Mm.
something like that.
I I don't
Uh,
think an AI voice route would work with. I don't know. Indiana Jones is a tricky character because it's like
yeah,
he's so much of the characters wrapped
well, he
up in
has
Harrison
personality.
Ford,
Yeah,
but but using an AI voice type of situation would sap all the
it would suck.
personality out of it
Oh yeah,
too.
it takes all the personality out of it
Uh,
every time,
yeah.
and that begins our topic. Um, we are here to talk about. We've done AI episodes before, playing around with ChatGPT, AI dungeons, etc. Just
Hmm.
fucking around with it, and we explicitly state that it's AI, and we're not like, you know, we're just fucking around
Hmm.
with it. But this episode's more. We're gonna mess around with it because I have a new one that just dropped. DeepSeek AI,
Right.
which is the Chinese competitor, which is freaking scaring Chat GPT, Open AI, because it's supposedly more advanced, and we'll get into the details on that.
Hmm.
Um, and it's live, open source, free. So they're really trying to make a statement here,
Yeah.
um, that we have the bigger, better thing, and everyone's gonna have access to it. But you know, I didn't download anything. It's open source. It's live.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna run DeepSeek or any of these. I'm not gonna run the AI on my system like natively.
Yeah.
But you can. You could download it, and if you have a good enough graphics card and RAM and to handle that, um, and we're talking high end, like not even
Yeah.
like high
Oh,
gaming end, but even beyond that, even
yeah. You need
um,
like yeah, like flight
like the GeForce
training,
4090
like
would be kind of crying,
yeah.
even with 30. Now we got the 50 series, which that's another thing we could talk
You
about here
you
because the
you
AI
you need like
controversies.
a VFX like
Yeah,
artist type of
you're gonna have a
computer
few
to
graphics cards and
yeah.
to like natively run it, but I've heard they've made it where now you can. I forget the exact term, but kind of like a LAN party, where
Mm.
if you had multiple systems like connected on the same network, you could run it that way, like that way.
Huh.
Yeah, some weird thing. But yeah, we're talking about AI, and it's something that's I remember playing around with it the first time a couple years ago.
Hmm.
Um, and like haha funny, stupid, and it would give us generic response based off of millions of things that people came up like would do the AI death battles, which
Hmm.
um maybe we can see what DeepSeek conjures, but
Yeah, yeah. We've played around with like
uh
ChatGPT and
but we played
those
around in it.
those
We
we did
never taken it seriously.
we've done a few of those
Uh,
episodes, and what we found is like at first it was fun, and
but then
eventually
it loses
it
the
is
because
it starts to repeat stuff,
it
starts to do
repeats
this.
its and it. The thing is, people think AI is going to be so smart, but it's just repeating
You well,
everything that's fed into it,
well,
and there's a
it's
lot of garbage out there, and
and
it's
also
becoming
sometimes
more inbred.
sometimes when you like ask an AI thing like ChatGPT like question, it gives you the most expected answer. Like it's so for example, for this episode, I decided I was going to say I was going to go to ChatGPT and say what drink should I have for the podcast?
I'm gonna ask DeepSeek.
And I typed in something along the lines of do a podcast where we um get drunk. What should I drink? And it gave me just a list of, well, you can have
It gave
a
you
cocktail
well, for instance, it
or
won't
some
give you an
craft beer.
opinion. It won't give you
Yeah. It's like you can have a cocktail or some craft beer. I'm like, gee, that's fucking helpful. So I go,
oh God.
I go, okay, recommend a craft beer to me. And it recommends probably the most like default craft beers you could think of. It recommended Sierra Nevada and the Dogfish had 90-minute IPAs, what it recommended. And I'm like, that's not fucking helpful because those are, and it's just that's what you'd expect from AI. What I ended up making was a martini because it told me to make a cocktail, and I haven't had a martini in a while, so I got stuff
Nice.
to make martinis. Um,
And
that's what I'm drinking
that's a
tonight.
cocktail.
Yeah.
I asked DeepSeek AI, what drink should I have for Not Drunk Podcast? And it gave me a whole list. Absinthe, uh, Malort, which I've never had before, but I've heard it's
Oh, those are the first two things I recommended. Absinthe and
well, this
Malort.
other Fernet Branca, herbal liquor. I've never had that.
Fernet.
Or Fernet. Uh,
It's
tiki
just
cocktails. Tiki cocktails.
so the first three
Um,
things I recommended was absinthe, Malort, and
yeah,
Fernet.
yeah. Mezcal with
That's
a worm, which I did hear about. I've heard about that before.
I think it hates you. I think
Isn't that
this
a thing?
yeah, there's like the worm of the mezcal.
Yeah.
I think it's I
Uh,
think it's mostly like a gimmicky thing.
Pickleback shot at whiskey followed by a shot of pickle brine. Jägermeister. Uh,
Wait,
ooh, cement mixer shot. I've never heard of this one.
a cement mixer?
Ce cement? Whatever. What do you call cement.
Yeah, that's like was it Bailey's
Bailey's and
and
lime juice,
yeah.
apparently. And
Yeah.
then the last one here was DIY mystery drink. Blindfold yourself and mix random ingredients from your liquor cabinet.
I wouldn't do that blindfolded. You're gonna miss the
Yeah.
glass. That's a terrible idea. You're just making a whole mess.
Yeah,
Just don't.
yeah, I'm just pouring it down the drain or in the trash or just straight on the floor. Dogs start licking it.
Like
Oh, it's a
none
whole
of this
thing.
made it into the glass.
No, but anyways, that's that. Anyways, but there's a lot of AI slop, and when I say
Yeah.
a lot, it's normalized now. It used to be like every once in a while I would see it, like on a short or like someone posting it, and like a lot of times ironically. But now are like, oh, I'm just experimenting with AI. Here's some things I've pulled up, blah blah blah. But now it is becoming it's bots doing it. I have a
Hmm.
theory that it's just shell corporations trying to seep as much ad revenue, and Facebook is really bad, but also
Yeah.
Instagram, Meta, anything Meta related, anything Zuckerberg touches is bad. Same thing with the Muskrat. But it's AI and I laughed at one once, right? And I was like, "Wow, this is amazing work of art you've done here." Ironically, right? But the thing is of it, and I've sent you one. I sent you some of the ones I've made for our
Yeah.
show. I'll be posting one of those, or maybe a compilation of a wonderful cake that no one appreciates, and I'm sad. I'm a sexy woman, and I'm sad, and
I
I'm
feel like
grieving.
there's a lot of
Um,
Jesus related
there,
AI slop that gets shared around.
yes.
Uh,
But the thing is, there's the AI slop that's obvious AI slop. Like, here's one, for example, one I used to see a lot. I don't see as often,
mhm.
thankfully. Uh, maybe because I just stopped, you know, like every time it's there, I just block it or whatever. But like doom scrolling, one I used to see a lot. And just for the content we do and me looking up stuff, uh, oh, what if, like Spider-Man combined with a turkey or like whatever. And it's like the same video over and over. It's the same like stock shitty, AI CG generated thing. It's like warping and it never gets it right. And another one I see a lot is Mortal Kombat, but it's 1950s Panavision. Uh, and it's like concept art, but it's uh, but there's a lot of those where it's just like it's concept. Oh, what if this movie, but it was this?
Hmm. Yeah.
What if The Lord of the Rings was made in the 80s?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
The
Stuff like
the
and then
there
like
was
the
a trend
mashup
going
ones.
there was a trend going around for a while of um uh like 80s dark fantasy.
Yeah, 80s dark
Yeah.
and those were yeah, they got annoying, they got old, they got whatever.
Sometimes they can be fun. There was
It can be
one
interesting.
there was one I thought
It
was that I enjoyed that was going around for a month or so, like a year or two ago, and it was
yeah, they're not a trend
they would take
anymore.
something like Harry Potter and they would make it Balenciaga.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That one I did enjoy. That was fun.
But those were presented in a way where it was obviously AI. It looked
Yeah.
like obvious AI.
Yeah.
And all this stuff to me, with a trained eye, Gen Z, millennial, or Gen Z that is on the cusp of millennial, I can't, I'm ashamed of my existence. No, but we have a trained eye for it. We know what AI is when we see it. As soon as we see an image, we're like, yeah, that's AI. That's garbage. But unfortunately, the boomers. And I think a lot of it is just also bots reacting to other bots.
I think there's a lot of
Um,
that.
but there's real people, there's real people mixed in here that believe. And one of the things I've been coming across lately, and what's mind blowing, yeah, you'll get the laugh reaction. People are like, "Oh, that's obviously AI," blah blah blah. But there's other ones, and even on those, great majority of the comments either ironically or like being ironic, right? Or where they're like, "Oh, this is amazing." It's like, "Oh, the kid in Africa carved a swan out of trash. Look what I've done. Can I get any appreciation?" That kind of thing. And it's like, obviously, the fingers are fucked up, whatever. It's like obvious. But then there's a lot of people that are saying, "God bless,
Yeah.
Amen," Christians, but
I think
boomers, and
yeah. Oh.
the latest one I've encountered just popped up is this one where and I made the my images of it, and it's so weird. I swear I saw this when I was at my mother-in-law's, or well, my girlfriend's mom's birthday party. We were at a Red Robin, and I had a Guinness. I had a Guinness at a Red Robin. Isn't that something? But in the bottle. But they gave me a glass, so I got
Oh
to. But
I have to throw something out there.
yeah.
Guinness in a bottle is totally acceptable to just unceremoniously drink it straight out
Oh
of.
yeah, I've
Yeah,
done it.
yeah, yeah.
I'll
There's no
continue.
you can ask any Irish person, they'll be like, yeah, that's how you drink that shit. It's-
Yeah. But what I encountered, I was just on my phone for a second checking some things, but what I've begun to encounter, and there's multiple pages that post this type of thing. It's the weirdest like clout. I don't even know. It's just clicks, trying to generate clicks. Do I have the like count here? Well, I'm sure I can find one as soon as I get on Facebook, right? But
Hmm.
this new one I found. Today I am 42 years old and I have no husband, no children, no family, and I made my own cake. And it's an AI generated image, a photorealistic looking one of a woman crying over a cake. Um, and the amount of people that, seemingly believed it, that were like, oh, we're here for you, or praise be, amen, or God bless. You don't have to be alone. We can give you, there's support out there. You know, it's astounding, and I've seen so many of these. Another one I've ran into, and this has over 8,000 likes, and the laugh one isn't even. You know how it does like heart laugh, like whatever
Yeah.
order, like this, whatever has the most clicks out of the options.
Yeah.
It's not even there. It's like, then heart, and then the shocked emoji. Um, and it's I have to just share it to you. But my dad is a carpenter, and he made this. It's heartbreaking because no one appreciates his work, and there's a crying man with a wooden carving of a horse. Again, strange finger occlusions, super long weird nail. Uh, obviously I mean
It's
AI,
it's it's uh
but then there's people, and it's all boomers. They're like, "Oh, that's a beautiful piece of art. Like,
I
you
mean
need to pursue
I mean
your
they're
craft."
yeah.
And it's just it generating clicks. But then I think, okay, yeah, there's obviously some people, that either don't have a trained eye or don't bother to check because, and a lot of these don't even either hide the fact that it's AI or don't even state that it's AI at all.
Right.
Like it might be cropped in where when you actually click on a picture, it says it has the watermark or whatever. This is an open AI thing or whatever,
Yeah.
the Meta AI creation. But
Gemini or something. Yeah.
most of them or a lot of them don't have any of that.
No, yeah.
But you know it when you see it, and it is, and it's not even just that. Like I'm concerned for the people that believe in it, or like that I'm per- uh, personally annoyed by it. But here's the thing, and this goes along with dead internet theory, and we can get into how that's becoming a reality. Um, but like your feed, like it's getting to the point where almost like a third or more of your feed is either is bot generated in some sense. Um, and that's
Well,
stuff that's being recommended to you because it gets attention. And now, Zuckerberg, yeah, uh, prior to Trump's inauguration, and I don't want to get political, but this is important. Um, they announced that Meta is, just to sum it up, is ending any of the fact checking that it had previously.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And
There's
obviously Elon, when he bought Twitter and made it X, stop calling it Twitter. Um, this whole free speech thing, right? It's all about free speech and be able to say whatever you want, but you really don't get to say whatever you want. And
no.
also, but now, so now all this AI slop is everywhere without any guardrails. And so now you have the people that spread misinformation anyways, and then you have bots doing that on top of that, and it all feeds into each other in this big feedback loop where then all you get is slop.
Yeah.
It's like, and then it's not even affecting us adults, just us adults, but children. Like
Mhm.
children's content on you, like YouTube content that is catered towards children that I've come across should not be allowed on the platform, or at the very least, not be
Mhm.
catered towards children.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't know if you ever watch Some Ordinary Gamers, but he covers this a lot,
Mhm.
or recently, but Mudahar. But he talked about this channel uh, where it was and you had the whole like weird before AI, people were still doing weird shit and like getting
Yeah.
away with it on YouTube, like with the Elsa gets Spider-Man pregnant, you
Yeah,
know,
there's a lot
and
of
it's
weird
hated
shit out
towards
there
children.
anyway. Yeah.
But it's on YouTube child mode or whatever it's called, where you can't comment on it or what. And a lot of them maybe aren't like that, but it's obviously catered towards children to consume,
Yeah.
right? And then, like some of the ones, and it's AI generated images of like Sonic Chan with Amy and like her ass sticking out, and it's like, oh, the pregnancy or like weird shit like that, but it's catered towards children. And and now with the AI generated slop on top of that, it's just becoming a wasteland.
Yeah.
And I hate to see like look what they've done to my poor boy, the internet. Like the whole
There
like the meme culture and like everything we grew up with, like early YouTube and
hmm
um MySpace, Facebook becoming a thing, Newgrounds, that is dead in the water.
Oh yeah.
The any
Yeah.
like sense
This
of creativity, not saying that it's not there anymore, but all this AI garbage is pushed so much because it gets easy clicks and because basically you can essentially have a post or a user where it's just bots reacting to bots, but that's somebody's getting ad revenue out of that.
yeah.
It's
hmm
not just out there for shits and giggles like you may like it may seem. And it's just getting to the point where they don't even care if it's real people, right? And Facebook, we talked about this.
hmm
Meta Facebook wants to embrace AI, essentially bot profiles, AI profiles,
Yeah. It's
and just having that react to each other. And like YouTube just advertised, it's got to YouTube now, my boy.
my boy YouTube.
It got to YouTube
I
now,
mean, it
where
makes
I had
it
an advertisement about paying for a service to have a conversation, like conversational AI on YouTube,
right. I
where it will
see
like talk about videos with you, and like
I see a lot
it
of
goes along with the
those.
loneliness epidemic we're going through, and
Yeah.
like just more and more social isolation. Because now you don't even know if you're talking about someone real, or if you are talking to someone real, are they really there to talk to you or just generate content? Are they there
Right.
to promote their OnlyFans? And often that may be AI promote doing that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't like where we're going. There's a lot of slop out
hmm
there. And it's like I've seen children like at a Red Robin, like the Robin I was at,
hmm
consuming slop on their iPad while the adults literally consume slop.
Yeah.
That's the point where we're at now.
That's it's
And it's like, oh, just be quiet, just watch your it's like okay, like when they say, oh, watch your Coco Melon or Bluey compilations. Eventually, through the kid just randomly clicking, and I'm not saying we didn't get into weird stuff. We
yeah.
we got into plenty of weird stuff when we were
Got
young.
plenty of
But
weird stuff.
it at least had some genuine there was a human that created it was at least it wasn't just this AI generated slop that is just getting thrown in your face over and over and over. And like oh TikTok. Now TikTok, I will say, the good thing about TikTok that's I've noticed better than any other social media platform.
Uh-huh.
You won't necessarily see that stuff as long as you don't
You don't engage with it.
engage with it.
The
And
it
if
doesn't it doesn't feed it to
because
you.
it will just feed you what you engage with. But as soon
Um
as some kid clicks on an
yeah.
AI slot video, and I shit you not, this is a real thing, you can look it up, of a minion like devouring people in a pool or whatever, uh, and Will Smith eating spaghetti, haha. That was the benchmark for AI videos. But as soon as a kid like clicks that, or like they get off Miss Rachel or Coco Melon, and then it goes on to Sonic Chew Slop, then there's no getting out of it. Once you open
Yeah.
Pandora's, and we've opened Pandora's box.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
there's no closing it again. There's no the AI has gone
and
to
and
the
the
point
and the
where
way with like out what the way algorithms work is it's like you said, it's so easy to get to fall into it. And admittedly, I mean, there's been times where I've been scrolling through TikTok and I'm not really processing
are
everything I see
engaging with any.
or
Yeah.
engaging, and I see something and I click like, and then I immediately realize, oh wait, no, that's an AI thing, and I go and unclick like. I'm like, oh, I hope that didn't fuck up my algorithm again. Like,
I just ran into one. I literally just opened Facebook and I ran into one. Um,
I don't go,
I don't know if you can see my.
I don't, oh jeez,
Okay,
I don't go
you
on
get the
Facebook
drift.
like ever these days.
That's
Uh,
good for you. Yeah, I'm at the point. Well, it's been. Well, I guess fun's not the right word. It's been interesting to see. This is like the normal stuff that's being like put out there, and it's nothing that I've engaged with. Well, I guess I have engaged with it because I made fun of it, or because now I've looked into it for this episode and etc. But this one, it's a car, a car made of rocks, of a kid in Africa, and it says, "I made this with my own two hands, but it seems like no one appreciates it." And
that's so many of them are just like
why is it a kid in
that
Africa? Like,
that thing. Like
why?
nobody appreciates this, so you need to like.
And then yeah, obviously, some of the top comments, at least you have two hands little AI boy, people making fun of it. But then, scroll down a little further, you get to the boomers, genuinely thinking it's real to some extent
Yeah.
because they just see it once. And I'm not saying, and I'm not like, oh, old people, they just don't know technology. They won't investigate things. But it is getting to the point now where if you're not used to seeing it or if you haven't seen it before and you don't know what key things to look for, it's getting to the point, especially if you're hard of you have if your vision's failing and dementia kicks. But it is to the point where like AI, yes, us young folk, younger generations, we know it as soon as we see it.
Yeah.
But for the older generations, the naivety, they see that it's real because it's made to look like a real image.
Yeah.
And there's nothing here saying, oh, this is disclaimer, this is AI generated, this is a parody, this is that. No, it's there to trick to deceive people for clicks. And like here's what great job, I love it. Very creative. Um and then one guy say that's physically impossible. Come on, people. But you have enough people that believe it. But even the people like they're making fun of it, that's still giving it engagement. And uh it's phenomenal work. Praise be, I'm not joking. Um Scroll down a little. Oh, here's another one. So it shows image of a young woman. It's the picture is supposed to be a young woman captured in 1954, but it's
Hmm.
a 4K ultra realistic HD image of a woman holding her two sons, one in each arm. And obviously, yeah, the fingers, there's not
Two
good
the
things
the
going
two
on with
two
the
the
fingers.
two two
Never get fingers
two
right.
like things that AI images seem to have the most trouble with is
Fingers.
fingers and text.
Yeah, and but the ones I sent you genuinely got the text right.
Yeah, I
And
mean
that was just Meta AI and it was free.
sometimes they do, yeah.
And
But
that's what's getting. No, I remember like during the campaigns and everything, there was even AI generated and well, and Trump posting himself AI generated images of like Taylor Swift wearing a Trump shirt, stuff like that.
right.
Um, you know, but anyways, the latter image. So it says 76 years of marriage. She's 94, he's 97. When something is real, it lasts forever. And the image doesn't even like correlate with the actual pose. And then it's apparently the two sons grown up like in the military holding her and she's a grandma now.
Mhm.
Um, and this one is like obviously, obviously fake, right?
Yeah.
Um, but you will still have people here, and their names are often like Roxy or Gertrude or like boomer old people names. Virginia, beautiful, truly blessed, beautiful picture, beautiful family. What if uh congratulations. And then you have people saying, yeah, this is not real, this is rubbish, this is AI slop. But yeah, and it's just getting to the point where, oh God, another one of the birthday cake ones. But yeah, it's getting to the point where it's just it's just drown your feet in the slop. And yeah, we've always had slop,
I mean, yeah,
but
and
someone had to put work into the slop.
Big Chungus was absolutely
Yes,
slop, but
but
so,
that someone
but
had
there was
some
some
sense of humor,
humanity. There was some humanity behind it.
some humanity. Some people had some sense of humor and creativity to make that. And uh
A questionable sense of
and yeah,
humor,
memes are dead. Like
but
the idea, like memes
yeah,
are
yeah,
essentially dead now because now you just have AI. There's no filter for it anymore.
yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
yeah, it's sad, man.
I think one thing I see a lot of is people will use AI and they'll try to get you'll see like YouTube videos or just
Yeah, yeah.
clickbait stuff where it'll be a fake trailer
Yeah,
or
yeah,
fake poster for a movie that does not exist
yeah.
type of thing. Um, Trying to get clicks that way.
I there's some Reddit pages where it's like things that AI cannot create are yeah, there's good pages there of just like classic memes and like picture, just absurd pictures, real pictures. Um that's AI couldn't create, that's my favorite like anti like the answer to that. But unfortunately, um it it's all for naught. But yeah. And then my next point would be, do you have like a specific talking point on this?
Not
Or
really.
just letting me rant on it?
I'm kind of scrolling through some stuff here.
Yeah.
I do have to say again, I think my favorite genre are the Jesus pictures.
Oh yeah.
They're very
Yeah.
fun.
And you have all the people saying sending prayers or God bless or
Yeah.
Amen, And but another
What the
thing.
hell? This is so
So yeah,
this you see a
you
lot
share it
of
to me.
a lot of these on here.
Oh, here you
Um
go.
Here, I'm throwing a
Okay, like that's obvious.
throwing one into the chat here. This is fun. Uh
But why does it have 101,000 likes and the hearts?
I mean it's all I think a lot of them is bots and shit like that.
Just bots reacting to it because
Yeah.
there's no way a person with any kind of brain and sanity would think this is
Bots and things like
real.
that. I also know there are people
The
out there.
helicopter
Well,
carrying the Bible.
here is another kind of
That
talking
looks like the
point.
new Assassin's Creed game. The modern, the
The
modern era.
helicopter
The one
Bibles.
that we yeah,
There are
yeah.
people out there though that don't
Yeah.
have a problem with it too.
Am I
That
making a mountain out of a molehill? Maybe. Is that what you
no, I
are you
mean
just
there are people out there who they don't see the problem with AI slop stuff.
well, because they're just there to consume
Like
slop or not be
yeah,
critical of anything or question
or
anything
they like they've embraced it.
or they'll take content for content's sake, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, there are those people
Anything
too
to
where like
just doom scroll
they're
to.
yeah, they'll see an AI image and they'll go and they'll not that they don't recognize that it's AI, but they don't care, you know.
But for me, it's killing any of the mystery or like enchantment that used to be within the internet. Um, and then also, and again, this is coming across as, oh, Jackson just doesn't like AI and is watched a little too much Terminator or something. No, it's not even. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Well, that could be another discussion, if AI became, to the point of
Yeah, what like
self-conscious and all these
we're
things. But
yeah.
we're just talking about the garbage slop.
Yeah,
And
we're not talking
but
about AI like in a philosophical sense type
no,
of thing. We're just like what
it's
we're
a
seeing
tool.
online.
It's a tool that should be used as such, but it is being exploited to the furthest extent by everyone and their grandma. And uh and it's not even just within social media. Obviously, governments looking in, well, not even just looking, they're actively utilizing AI for their own purposes, and it can be used to control the narrative. I don't want to get into that, but even just something that we like. What's something that we like that we talk about a lot on this podcast or otherwise?
Video games.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Even video games are being affected.
Yeah.
Uh, During Nvidia's latest showcase on the 50 series,
Yeah.
stating that the 5070 or whatever the lowest model of the 5060 or 5070 can run just as is just as powerful as the 4090, all this stuff. But then you get into the actual comparisons and you see that it's not running, it's running just a couple frames better on, Cyberpunk 2077 full path ray tracing, with DLSS, which is AI enhancement, which I
Hmm.
use it, you
Yeah.
know, or to upscale your image. It's
Yeah. A
upscaling
little bit of
something that's already
upscaling.
it's upscaling something that's already there, that's existing, that is
Yeah.
being run natively on your
It's
system.
using AI tech to upscale the
But
resolution.
it's not creating something out of nothing. But now we're getting to and I have games that have this technology accessible to it, and I think to a certain extent it can be used well. But the frame generation,
Right. Yeah.
and they're touting like, oh, now you can get up to like 4 times frame generated per frame or every other frame. So you're getting all these fake AI generated image frames of your game. So like you're only seeing 20 frames per second of the actual engine of
Yeah.
the actual game running. Everything else in between that flickering before your eyes is Nvidia's AI putting together what it thinks the game should look like, but it's
Hmm.
not the actual engine. And it's
I've tried frame generation before, and I think the tech is interesting in the concept, but I've found that in the cases I've tried it, it creates there can be a lot of input lag
oh
because
yeah,
it's the AI's trying to keep up with it that's actually going on screen, which
gonna
is
be input lag,
really difficult.
and
And
it's like,
like you
okay,
said, it's like not every single frame is actually the engine. It's the
yeah,
AI filling in the gaps.
hmm,
So that contributes to the input lag where you have um the you might be reacting to something you're seeing on the screen,
yeah,
but what the computer's actually doing is not matching up to what you're seeing on the screen exactly, you know?
yeah, and you know, it's like the 50 series. Like I'm not interested in it. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it does run better than, the 40 series. But if I really wanted to upgrade and, go all out, and they're going to be a lot cheaper now, the graphics cards, because of the 50 series releasing. I'd rather get a 4090. I'd rather get something that can run the thing natively, than, oh, but you're getting over, you're getting like almost 200 frames on fully ray traced Cyberpunk 2077, but like how much of it is actually there, is actually real? And
Also,
also the graphics gate of games, the whole like, oh, we got to keep
oh,
pushing the boundary, ray tracing, and oh, you got to have higher and
I
higher recommended settings. Uh, I think a game like Marvel Rivals is a great example of a game that puts art direction and style and
mhm.
flair over graphical fidelity, and people love it because it has a
Yeah,
genuine art direction, and it's you can tell that it wasn't just, oh, let's just generate AI upscaled Unreal Engine 5 high res textures
yeah.
with no soul
I
to it, with no
I've had this feeling
art
for a
design
while,
to it.
and I've noticed online I'm not the only one who has this
You're
feeling
not.
right now
I think.
of so like for example, the Spider-Man 2 PC port came
Oh,
out,
I heard it's shite.
and it's a really shit port, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but it's also like
so hard to
130, it's like
run, and
130 gigabytes or something like that. And
well, that's standard now.
well, the thing is, I saw
But
like the specs got released for it,
yeah,
and I was going through a Reddit thread, and like half of the comments were people going, there should be an option for downloading this for I don't play on 4K.
yeah, you
Be,
shouldn't have to download all those textures
and
and
it's like and
assets,
I am not saying that graphical improvements aren't cool, that we shouldn't be caring at
pushing
all
the
about
boundary.
graphics. I'm not saying we shouldn't care at all about that sort of stuff, but sometimes I get this feeling of like file sizes are getting way bloated. Like hardware requirements are becoming really bloated.
Yeah.
Is it really that worth it?
Well, it's like you
You
have to
know,
go through all
like
this stuff. You have to go through all this BS, AI generation, frame generation, DL, all this just to run the game at a, good frame rate.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, and it's like
I'm kind of at the point where I'm like,
there's been games recently that like don't get me wrong, they look great. Take for example, it's a couple years old now, but I think this is just a good example though. Starfield. Starfield
okay,
is a
yeah,
game that it doesn't look bad. I'm not saying it looks bad. It's a good looking game.
but it has a bit
But
of a generic look to it.
is it that much better looking than Red Dead Redemption 2?
No,
And Red Dead
it's
Redemption
not.
2 has well, I mean, Red Dead 2 does have a pretty bloated file size, but like 20 gigabytes of that is for online stuff.
Right.
Like, so, so if you're not including the online Red Dead Online stuff, that's takes up some of the file size. It's like Starfield has a bigger file size and has
Yeah, and really
stricter
the thing is though,
and has more demanding hardware requirements to run, and it doesn't look better, and it doesn't play better, and
right.
it doesn't work better.
Yeah,
What like
you know, we're
and
getting to the point. Like, I appreciate if the game is meant to look, realistic or at least have a certain graphical design, fidelity to it. I appreciate high res textures and
yeah,
uh,
graphics are great.
I
I'm not
appreciate
saying we
that. But
shouldn't care about improving graphics at all,
then
but it's
again,
just
there's some things like forcing, like some games where like ray tracing is not even optional.
yeah, like
And the Indiana Jones game does that, but it does it well. It's not the
yeah,
easiest game to run, but mid-grade plus systems can run it. I'm talking
yeah.
like 30, 60.
And also I feel that it also doesn't help that with this gaming generation, the console generation, there's been a lot of like I feel like it's been less previous console generations had more of a consistent this is the standard we have.
Yeah.
This console generation, the PS5, the Xbox Series S and X, all that does not seem to have that like a consistent standard
No, it's wildly
across the board. Yeah,
inconsistent.
like because
I,
you get games like that come out like um take the new Indiana Jones game.
Hmm.
Not like an insanely demanding game, but still on the more demanding side to run.
If you're trying
And
to run at full specs, I mean,
yeah, and but so it's like you take a
looking
game
at a
like that
4090.
that comes out, and then Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes out, has a much more lenient standard
Yeah.
on it, you know? And then Ubisoft is releasing Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has forced ray tracing and all this shit. And then, but then also, like just a few months back, Dragon Age Veilguard came out and has a lot more lenient. It's like there's no fucking consistency, and
Hmm.
none of them seem
Well,
to
do they
have.
even take the time to optimize things
Yeah,
too,
it's
you
like
know?
are they optimized? And also none of these games, and I'm not saying that any of these games are bad or anything,
But
but
now we're at the
but
point where,
none of them seem, but the ones that are more demanding don't seem to be able to justify why they're more demanding.
well, and it's also getting to the point if it's not well optimized,
Yeah.
that could be the justification for it to be more demanding. Or on the other hand, your game, even like let's say like on a 4070 Super, 32 gigabytes RAM, or maybe you're writing AMD Ryzen 8900 or whatever. Um, I but it's still poorly optimized and like you're still struggling to get a consistent 60 frames or even less than that.
Hmm.
Or let's say like the example I said earlier, like Cyberpunk running at full settings of full path ray tracing natively on a 4090 is still only getting not even playable for really just only barely above 20
Yeah.
with some dips. And but then with the AI frame generation, oh, you're all of a sudden you're getting
Yeah.
100 plus. So, oh, you don't even need to optimize your game. You could just fill in the blanks with AI slop.
Yeah.
Uh, but I do like to see that, going back to Rivals game, but a game like that with, yeah, it's a live service game.
Hmm.
There's no getting around that, but there's no pay to win aspects.
Yeah.
Play all the characters available, which is something I really respect. It's but it makes a ton of revenue
Yeah.
off the cosmetics and all that. But it's a game with a genuine art style,
Hmm.
fun. It's not reinventing the wheel as far as hero shooters
It's a
go, but
game,
people
but
love it
it's a game
because
that it
it's not
looks.
just an IPP people like, but it's fun, it
Yeah.
looks good, and it runs good,
It it
and
it
it's fun.
it look yeah, yeah,
Fun.
it looks
You're
good.
not in
It
the
looks
setting.
good. It plays good. It's fun to play. It's only like a 50 gigabyte download size.
Well, yeah, and I've seen like the compare. Well,
Like,
because it's not trying to push it's not trying to
yeah,
be
it's
ultra
it's
real.
just doing
Like,
its
and
own
then
thing.
here's an example of the Avengers game, and we'll get more on AI again. But the Avengers game that came out was ultimately a live service.
Uh-huh.
It ended up being a failure, not as like epic of as a failure as like obviously Conquered or Suicide Squad. Conquered was dead in 2 weeks, literally. Um, but um, but the Avengers game tried to push for ultra, realism. Captain America looks like he's in SWAT gear, that kind of thing. But even with like the movie suits, yeah, they did a great job of like replicating the textures from the films into the game. But it's bland and it's gray and like there's nothing quite fun or satisfying about it. It's restrictive and especially when it comes to the base designs, like
Hmm.
they go for this like, oh, this MCU ripoff, but there's like no artistic creativity there.
Yeah.
They're just doing what they think should work rather than doing something that they enjoy, that they're passionate about.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um,
I think and I think there's something to be said about like people make the argument that realism helps them get immersed in the game and stuff like that. Well, I mean, I saw I don't even know what video. I was watching some YouTube video
well, I think, and there's a
that was
distinction
talking
between
about like
fun and immersion.
well, I saw some YouTube video recently and they were talking about immersion in video games and they made a good point. They say I don't remember what newer game they were playing, but they were playing some newer game and it's super realistic and super immersive. Maybe it was I think it was Red Dead 2 they were talking about. So I guess not that new. Oh, jeez. Um,
No, but Red Dead
Um,
2
but
is
they were talking about Red Dead 2. They're talking about how, oh, this game looks so real and it's so immersive. And then he goes, but then I
what
went.
is it?
But then he goes, but then I went and went and played Super Metroid. And he goes, and let
I
me
feel like
tell
I've seen
you,
this video.
once you get into it, yeah, maybe you have, but he's like, once you let yourself enjoy the game without worrying about stupid shit like graphics and stuff like that, it's just as immersive. It feels just as
Yeah,
immersive
and the thing is,
because
we're
that's how that's a good video game is like that.
yeah.
And like the point wasn't to be like graphics don't make a game
Well, I get
and you
like
know,
sunk into the atmosphere and the world of
yeah.
Hades, but
Yeah,
it's artistically, kind of a anime cartoonish,
totally.
but it's vibrant and it's fun. But I'm still just as immersed in the
Well,
actual level design in the world
I
that I
mean,
would be as
I've
like
talked
a
about it before, and
Assassin's Creed Mirage or something.
I
In
can
fact,
talk.
more so because I'll tell you why more so.
Mhm.
I think the problem is, and I think developers are quickly learning about this from recent failures. You can't just make something live service, and you can't just push graphic boundaries for the sake of, oh, we have this newest technology, we're pushing graphics boundaries for the for this. I think they should always keep pushing the graphics boundaries.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not
totally. Yeah,
against that
yeah,
at all. But the
yeah.
thing is, your graphics, and just like any work of art, your material, your graphics should be there and to the sole purpose of creating the vision you have for
Right.
your piece of art.
Yeah.
But if your game puts graphics before vision,
Well,
then it's just going to be another generic
I've gone back recently and
mediocre
replayed
thing.
some older games, and I don't mean just like the retro gaming that I've been really into, but like, for example, I recently re-downloaded and played a bit of GTA 4.
Hmm.
And let me tell you,
How does it run on? Well, I heard it runs okay on PC now, like
yeah,
natively.
yeah, it runs.
It's
Yeah, it's the PC port's notoriously really
questionable.
bad, but
Yeah. But anyways,
most
going back to
modern PCs have the processing power behind them to run it. Just, like, you can play it at 60 FPS on the Steam Deck.
yeah.
No fucking problem. But like I was playing GTA 4, and I'm like, graphically, if you want to get really technical, it's nothing really that impressive.
No, it's brown.
Brown,
Everything's muddled.
yeah, and like the
Yeah.
textures aren't the best. The polygon,
It
like
was
the
during the
models
brown
aren't the
era of
best.
gaming, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
but that game is still, to this day, I discovered, to this day, it's more immersive than 90% of the newer games I've played.
oh yeah. Well, yeah, and
And it's because of two reasons. One, and this goes for any well-designed game. If the game is designed well enough to draw you in, it doesn't matter what the game looks like. It's going to feel immersive to you because it's drawn you into the game for the same
well,
reason
I
that
think
Super
for
Metroid
one,
is
is there a
just as
reason
immer
to keep playing it other
yeah,
than grinding, other
yeah.
than
If you're having fun and you're drawn into the game, it's going to feel immersive because you're
yeah,
drawn in. The other thing, and there's
and
a
that
lot,
could have a lot of things to do with it. It could
yeah.
be the actual gameplay loop itself, the combat, the exploration. It could
Hmm.
be the story. It could be whatever you prefer in a
Yeah.
game.
But the other
Um,
thing that GTA 4 does so well that helps with the immersion part of it is it creates a vibe. Like with
yeah.
its and
Oh,
it's kind of
yeah.
going into what you're saying with its art style, but like GTA 4 creates a vibe. It's why I think graphically,
GTA 4, when I first started playing it as a kid, made it feel like I was actually in the hood,
hmm well,
like in the streets of
it's like
the
it's
Bronx or
like
something.
this
And
might be a controversial opinion.
it had that scary kind of
I think GTA
grounded.
4 graphically has held up better than GTA 5, and it's because it has a much more it has a much more real feeling vibe to it
Oh, yeah.
than GTA
I mean, it's
5,
still the parody
and
of,
that
but
carries it so far for the same reason why Breath of the Wild
What do you think?
feels
Like GTA
like
6.
I'm sure it'll.
Do you
I
think
don't
it's
know.
gonna have like the grittiness, or is it just gonna be more parody, like more of GTA 5 but
I hope they bring back
higher fidelity?
some of the GTA 4 elements to it.
Yeah.
I mean, high fidelity is great. Don't get me wrong,
Well,
but
it's
it's
not even the high fidelity, but like well, it's hard to do Vice City without embracing the vibrant colors and
yeah,
neon and
yeah,
all that, but the vibe, right? But
yeah. But it's like I mentioned, like the same reason like Breath of the Wild holds up so well.
oh wait, because it has an amazing art
It's
direction. I mean,
it's the art
it's an
style
amazing
and
world to.
again, it creates a vibe. It like you just you it makes you feel like you're in the world even though it's not realistic.
Yeah, but it feels really to
Yeah.
you, the character, the player. Uh, I think a game I always go back to from time to time because I can, because I like it, and I always will. Doom. I'm talking the original
I
Dooms.
was about to guess
The
too.
original Dooms are just as immersive as anything else I've played.
Oh
Like
yeah.
going through the
Yeah.
halls of E1 M1 and getting lost, whatever. And this is the creep me out, and like going in the Doom 64 with its creepier atmosphere when you're
Hmm.
not just head running around headbanging. But like as soon as you like get through killing a bunch of demons and then you get lost in Doom,
Hmm.
it has this weird uncanny valley, like this weird kind
The
of liminal space feeling to it.
yeah. To get
And
lost
it's immersive.
even when you're not lost, when you're running around headbanging,
Well, even then, yeah, if you're just
that
kind
gets
of,
you into the game. I mean, it goes back
well,
to
that gets you, yeah, yeah.
that
But
whatever gets you into the game
like okay, like the new
helps.
Doom Dark Ages, which is if not my most anticipated game this year,
It's my
like
most
out of
anticipated.
AAA,
Yeah,
out of AAA games.
it's my biggest
Um,
one this year.
there's a lot of indie stuff. In fact, I've been playing Nine Souls again. A lot of good indie
Yeah,
stuff, but
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
it's kind of
I'm excited
wrong.
for
It's kind of
the
bad
Tales
that
of
I
the
put
Shire
that in its
game.
own
Yeah.
category. I really shouldn't, and I don't. But like, if a game is good, like, it doesn't matter who develop or what IP it is or what it's going for. But anyways, going back to Doom: The Dark Ages.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's high fidelity graphics. There's good textures in there, but that's not what gets me excited about it. What gets me excited about it is I'm gonna be playing Doom again,
It's the
but like in
chainsaw
this
shield.
the chainsaw shield and the bone gun, the
I
skull
I
shotgun,
remember
but the
when
dark
they
fantasy, grim dark version of Doom. It could just be just like more. Hey, it could be like
yeah
it just saying we're releasing more Doom, and I would still be. But like,
yeah
and the fact that they're changing the game, the actual pacing of it,
when
like
they announced
the
the
slowing things down, like
they
instead of
showed the first trailer for it.
no, but instead of
I
like
remember
running
one
and
of
jumping around for glory kills, you're kind of more methodically dodging blasts, slowly closing in for the,
yeah
I kind of like that we're getting that change,
yeah it's I think it's I
but
when they released the first trailer for that there was a comment that I remember reading that was someone went I was only half joking when I said I want Chainsaw Skateboard.
yeah, I think it's good. Uh, but going back to Avowed, since we're still on games, but we need to get back on topic again.
Yeah.
But this all has to do with like just slop and just content for content's sake versus genuine art that has been, has real love put into it. And that's why I think I will always, that's why I'm way more excited for Sky Oblivion than whatever Oblivion remake or remaster they have cooking. Yeah, I'll play both, but I'm more excited for Sky Oblivion because it's been a labor of love
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
even with all the flaws and all that it will probably have, I'm more excited for that because it's something that the community, the modding community, has put together, and etc. But
Yeah.
going back to Avowed, what gets me the most obviously, yeah, it's gonna be a similar ish experience to Skyrim with Obsidian doing all the story and dialogue work,
Hmm.
which the Outer Worlds is a great one that I need to get back into again. Um, in fact, I think people that wanted Starfield to feel more like a Skyrim type thing should just go play Outer Worlds.
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyway,
Just
but like Avowed, what
like
has me,
Outer Worlds is pretty much just what people wanted.
but Yeah, the gameplay mechanics, I heard like the combat's nothing to write home about, but you're putting that first person perspective with your sword and your spell, just like Skyrim. But the thing that gets me the most excited about it, though,
Mhm.
is the actual handcrafted open zone,
Yeah.
zones we're going to be in.
I
And
also I also
every nook
think
and
that
cranny has been meticulously,
yeah,
designed, and it's not just
nothing's
procedurally discerned.
procedural.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not just a big world for the sake of having a big world,
Yeah.
a void.
I personally think the art style looks really cool and it looks
Yeah,
very like
well, it does a good blend between
90s
like
fantasy type of art
90s
style
fantasy.
almost.
It has the fidelity, but it has a kind of bright, vibrant kind of cartoon, slightly cartoonish art style, and I think that works for it. Uh, but yeah, I much rather have something that has the flaws of a genuine human creator. Like, took the dogs on a walk earlier before this podcast, and Coco's turd had more creativity and passion put into it than AI slop that's out there. That's a unique thing. Yeah, it still ended up in the trash, but at least I wasn't putting out there for people to consume. Uh,
Oh.
uh, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But I don't like that it's affecting. Well, then we're getting in, then get into like the whole like when. Well, have you seen any like AI generated Minecraft where it's the AI generating Minecraft after watching thousands of hours of
Oh yeah.
Minecraft?
Yeah.
Or, and like in real time generating it, like what it thinks Minecraft is.
Yeah. I mean there's a
Like,
lot
how
there's
far off do you think we're going to be from a developer saying, "Oh, we've not fully, but like we've used AI in the creation of the engine and or the actual game world."
I think
And
we're pretty far off from that still because there's a lot that say like a game developer could do with AI in the development.
mhm,
And I don't mean just using it as a tool, I mean actually implementing it into the game.
right,
But there's been a
like
lot of
reactive dialogue with I've
yeah,
seen AI Skyrim mod
yeah, which is
where it like puts
that one is
open
kind of
AI in there.
fun. I
You
mean,
just say anything to
doesn't
anyone.
work as smoothly as it sounds like it would, but it's a fun idea. No, but like so, for example, there was a we're at a stage right now with AI where it can do a lot, but it's also extremely flawed because ultimately it doesn't understand what it's doing and what it's
Dude,
making.
dude. So, DeepSeek's a Chinese AI.
Uh-huh.
I just asked what happened at Tiananmen Square.
Oh no.
Here's its response.
Oh no.
Sorry. Sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. So that's a live example of actual censorship
Guys,
with the
guys,
AI. The AI
guys,
has
this is probably the last episode of the Oddrunk podcast.
yeah, the Chinese assassins are gonna come
Jackson's
for me.
not gonna show up next week.
Yeah. No, but
Um,
it's the AI actually, because the AI isn't supposed to have an opinion or bias, and it's not really seeing anything, but it's not. It doesn't want to.
well, that's the thing. It's like the AI
But the
take
AI
that exact thing for example.
was
The
programmed
AI
that way.
you put that into the AI, and the AI gives you that response. The AI doesn't know what Tiananmen Square was.
No, but it knows that it can't talk about it. It knows that
Yeah,
the
all
the Chinese developers
it
do
just it
not want it to.
but it doesn't understand what like the flaw with AI that we have is that AI does not understand what it's doing. It's just
Well, no,
taking in data
it's taking in data and
and spitting out
regurgitating.
data. That's
Yeah.
all it does. And for example, there was a study I read about this a while back where there's the game Go. I think it's a Chinese game. Um, it's like a board game, and there's an AI that was created to play this game, and it was like unbeatable. Could like it beat the world champion in this board game.
Let's see if he'll talk about
But
Winnie the
but
Pooh.
but then these researchers discovered a technique that even just a beginner player at that game could
Hmm.
use to defeat this AI that had defeated the world champion. And it comes down to the reason being the AI knows what the optimal next move would be, but it doesn't actually understand what it's doing.
Yeah.
So you can exploit that to trick the AI. So like in that game, there's a very basic strategy where you group pieces together, and the AI doesn't understand what a group is. It doesn't understand the concept of a group. So you can use this
Right.
technique to defeat the AI. And it's just a good example of like why I don't think you could use an AI to develop a game, not because you could, but it would not be successful
Hmm.
because you might be able to do that, but the AI doesn't know what a video game is.
No, you still have to direct it
And
and
I don't mean just
put
the
input.
AI doesn't know what makes a good video game. No, it doesn't know what a video game is. It doesn't understand there's no understanding there. So you might be able to use an AI in game development to do something like that, but if you do it wrong, if you don't use the
It's
AI
gonna keep.
properly, you're going to end up with a shitty game because the
Yeah.
AI doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. That's why I'm like we're far off
I don't know
still.
if we're that far off
I think we're still pretty far
as
off
far
because
as its advanced, but
because I think this idea that I'm talking about is a core issue in how we've developed AI from the
mm,
beginning. And to get past this issue, AI would need to be redeveloped and rebuilt from the ground up.
I just asked. This is interesting. This is interesting. I'm glad it responded this way. Um, but I asked DeepSeek, is it why is it or no, what is it called the Gulf of America? Because
Oh,
that's a recent thing
right, yeah.
uh that our president has put
Google
in
has
place.
changed. Google
I
Maps have
well,
changed their
I looked on like the UK. I have a VPN, so I went to different countries, and everyone else still calls it the Gulf of Mexico,
yeah.
and it'll have in parentheses Gulf of America. All right, which is ridiculous because it was made
People in
that.
the US have been going on to Google Maps and going into report an issue and reporting that the Gulf of Mexico is
Well, and the
mislabeled.
whole Mount McKinley renaming it Mount McKinley, Mount Denali.
Yeah. I
When
think
that's to honor the indigenous heritage there in the region. And because
yeah.
but again, trying not to get into that aspect of it, but I just wanted to see what the AI thought of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And this is a deep sea. Uh, so the body of water you're referring to is actually called the Gulf of Mexico, not the Gulf of America. The Gulf of Mexico is a large ocean basin, blah, 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 blah. It was named, in the 16th century by Spanish explorers.
hmm
Yeah, and it goes on to
I
detail some of the history of it.
I think the Gulf of
It's so
America thing
stupid.
is stupid because I mean renaming stuff when you don't have a good reason
Okay,
for it is stupid anyway,
it's
but
just the
I'm
hubris.
gonna throw this out there. Renaming something like Mount Denali, while I disagree with that, to renaming it back into Mount McKinley, I disagree with it. Technically, the United States is allowed to do that.
Well, yeah,
It
well,
is
and that's it within our
within the
territory.
boundaries of our
Yeah,
territory. We're allowed to do that. The Gulf of Mexico
telling the world that you're gonna call it the
is
Gulf of
not.
America now.
That's
You're
not.
gonna change all your maps. Yeah,
That's
you're
not
gonna.
like that's not ours.
Uh, yeah.
Like you can't just do that.
Uh, Uh,
it'd be like Russia deciding that it wanted to rename the Indian Ocean. Something like that. It's no, you can't just do that. Oh, but yeah.
let's see. Should I'm gonna ask it? Should the U.S. claim Greenland? It's another hot topic. Again, another stupid thing. And we know the only reason that if there were any chance that which again don't want to get into it, but it'd be to purchase it for the resources, right? That'd be the only reason.
Nah.
Well, in a strategic location and all that. But oh yeah, here we go. So the idea of the U.S. claiming Greenland has been floated occasionally, most notably by former president. Well, it still says former president by
That's
former
funny.
President Donald Trump in 2019, but it's a complex issue with significant political, economic, and ethical considerations. Of course.
One could
Uh,
argue that he's not the one pulling the strings right now anyway.
oh, did you see the
But
Elon Musk
that's
interview, the Pentagon thing?
I saw something about that. Yeah,
And
he's
everything he said was just nonsense. It was just,
oh my
what are
gosh.
you talking about, man? And but like, yeah, you have him standing with, the three richest men in the country, well, in the
In
world.
the world. Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, that just kind of tells you where the priorities are. Anyways, I'm gonna just leave it there. Um, but there is but yeah, now there's concern because just China just dropped DeepSeek out of nowhere and it's free, it's open source. And open AI is kind of freaking out. Uh now
The
the
I
Nvidia
don't
stock, the
I don't
Nvidia stock
exactly
price
feel
was
bad
actually
for
going
OpenAI.
um for now, OpenAI's O1 Pro model is still considered the most advanced in the world. The performance of DeepSeek R1, however, does suggest that China is much closer to the frontier of AI than previously thought, and that open source models have just about caught up to their closed source counterparts. And here's the thing, and yeah, well, and this all would involve government censorship, but ultimately, this kind of technology, this kind of tool should be open source. I think everyone should have access to it. There shouldn't be a restriction. But then that also opens another can of worms, and from little things like people, students trying to fib the essay with AI, right? I
Yeah.
can't imagine being a professor now or a teacher with kids, on TikTok all day and they can't get them off their phones, and a professor who has to actually now keep their eye out. And I'm sure it's, well, yeah, and it's super easy to like
I mean,
see an AI article, but
yeah.
now you don't even just have plagiarism. Now you have people using AI, which essentially plagiarizes everyone
I
to
mean,
generate what
I
it's
mean the
doing.
thing what I've noticed with like AI
And no one wants to learn
essays,
anything. You
what
don't
I've
have to learn anything anymore.
what I've
You don't have
noticed
to
with
think.
like AI essays that I've read, um, are that not that I mean, you might not be able to tell from reading it that it was definitely AI,
I mean, you would at least.
but it wouldn't get a good grade.
Oh no, yeah. Even
Like
if they didn't catch
if I
that it was
if
AI,
I was reading one of
right?
those,
Yeah.
I've read AI essays where I'm just like, yeah, this is a C at best.
The only real use, like genuine real use, I could see,
Because this is
uh,
just regurgitating
it just
just information. There's no
original
opinion
thought,
in here. There's no original
no,
thought.
but
And
no
isn't
thesis
that the entire point
of
of
an. Yeah, we don't want you
I
to
mean
just
hell,
regurgitate. If you just
I
want to
mean
regurgitate information, just take an
I know like
exam, just
high
take a
school
test.
classes don't have the highest standards, but when I was in high school, my professors or teachers still expected some original thought in there.
Yeah, some actual thought.
Like
Yeah.
they didn't it wasn't the
Uh,
highest standards, but
but
geez.
and The thing I could see AI, and I've done this in like some job surveys. Actually, one because I knew it wouldn't matter, and ultimately, if I had any kind of opinion on it, I would have to sit in the office and discuss my opinions. I just had AI do the whole thing, and they're like, "Oh wow, he left an amazing review of the company, the 60-day review." Um,
Uh,
but and I just told the AI to just do a overwhelmingly great review of a or 60-day survey of job, make it slightly snarky but in a fun way. Uh, but but the only thing I could see like genuinely the use of AI like in writing an essay or like just doing anything in college or in school, like writing an essay is like, oh, can you plug it into the AI like after you've written it and like done your work, done everything, plug it in and like you could have it like say, fix my grammatical errors, make it sound more eloquent, etc. And then kind of go
yeah.
from there, take from that, and then adjust from that and use that as kind of like a
Well,
guide to
I
like
mean,
to like
I mean, even then, in my experience, and this is
but even then you might
maybe
end up
just
just fucking it up more or
maybe
it
just
might
my professors, like
change what you're actually saying.
when I was working on my undergrad thesis, my professor was pretty strict about prose and grammar and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I remember there's a what's it called? Grammarly, I think
Well, yeah.
which is, I mean, it's basically an AI program, but it's specifically around like fixing grammar and recommending things like
Yeah.
changes in an essay. And I found it wasn't very useful because it didn't recommend very good stuff.
Like ideas or just the grammatical,
No,
the structure, the actual structure.
you would put in your paragraph or whatever, and it would fix a bunch of grammar and stuff like that. But yeah, and that was all well and good, but it didn't actually make your it didn't recommend stuff that actually was well written.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
like you can use an AI you can to fix your grammar. It's not going to make your essay good.
Right.
Like there's a difference between having good grammar and a well-written paragraph
Hmm.
because they're not the same thing. You can have perfect grammar and perfect prose and all that sort of stuff, and your essay will be boring as shit if you don't know
Oh
how
yeah.
to write well and actually word things well. Like there's a difference. And AI doesn't do that.
No, well, it
Uh,
just puts it just generates.
Like I've never read an AI generated like article or paragraph or anything like that that I would consider would be well written.
Right. No, you
Like
know.
yeah, it's very proper sounding,
Right.
uses fancy words, not well written.
Yeah.
Like that's not but yeah.
Um I was gonna
What you
ask
got there?
well, I was gonna ask DeepSeek if President Xi Jinping looked like Winnie the Pooh. If I really want to get the snipers after me.
Oh my gosh.
I pro hey, you made it open source. You chose to do that.
You mean glorious leader?
Arguably, yeah, yeah. But no, I have a just a brief article. Well, yeah, I guess article from a Statista. I remember last time we've talked about this. I had one from like 2023 or 2022, so it
Hmm.
was outdated information on actual bot traffic,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
it's apparently and according to everything I've seen, but this is just one instance, but it's getting worse. Um, so the true prevalence of web traffic generated via bots far extends that of professional botnets like 911 S5. As the annual Imperva Bad Bot Report shows, almost half of all traffic is related to bot activity, with one-third of the overall global traffic being connected to malicious programs. These programs are used in a wide variety of situations. Scalper bots used to buy up limited edition items, of course. Yeah, like when
Hmm.
the PS5 first dropped, you
Oh, you.
know, most of that was like scalper bots that somebody generated or people generated so they could, scalp them. And
I'm legitimately worried that when the
uh,
Nintendo Switch 2 drops,
I heard Nintendo's actively like gonna do their very best to make it accessible and not like keep it
yeah,
from being
I
scalped.
I hope I hope they do.
Um,
But yeah, I'm legitimately worried that it's gonna be
the Steam Deck was
six.
to an extent, but there
Well,
was also just supply
well,
and demand issue with that as
also,
well.
well, Steam Deck also Valve had a slow rollout for the first
Yeah,
like for
and
the
that
first
helped. That helped with the
for the
scalping.
first like 6 months the Steam Deck was available. You had to pre-order one.
Yeah,
Like you couldn't just buy one.
I kind of want the white one.
The white one's pretty cool looking. Yeah.
But anyways, continuing. Yeah, so the scalper used bots to buy limited edition items, footwear, electronics, while their bad actors use programs for distributed denial of service DDoS attacks, taking down specific websites but overloading their servers. Around 18% of bot traffic can be traced back to benign usage like search engine crawlers indexing the web. Um, Cybercrime is as dangerous for its victims as it is lucrative for its perpetrators. For example, according to a report by internet security firm Keeper, the average U.S. company experienced 42 cyber attacks in 2022, with 15% of 516 IT decision makers responding, claiming their company has lost more than 500,000 successful cyber attacks, and 37% claiming that more than 100,000 was stolen. According to this graph here. I can share it to you real quick. Um, oh, that's the Discord. I'm not going to share that. Just randomly drop that in the Rivals Discord. uh,
What?
Also,
Why
there's a
not?
whole Rivals theory
Hmm.
about bots.
Yeah.
Bot matches. Like, you'll, if you go on a losing streak for a while and then you all of a sudden, like, have an easy win, or like, but you can kind of tell if, well, and then a lot of people, you'll joke about being in a bot match. Yeah, this is the graph I have here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have harmless bots and then
Damn.
harmful bots, and it's kind of scary that the harmful bots exceed the
What
harmful.
what what
But
what what constitutes a harmful bot versus a harmless bot?
I think well, would like I said earlier, the anything that's like scalping, uh,
Oh, right, right.
spreading malware, you know, things of that nature. Uh,
I mean, both you and me work in a field in a field where fraud is rampant.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know how much you deal with it at your place of work, but I deal with it
we sure do.
every single
Oh
fucking
yeah,
day. I had today someone's older fella brought in it was really funny. He brought in a printed out email because he was advanced in his age.
phishing emails, yeah.
But it was a
But
phishing email, and he handled it right,
well,
you
that's an
know, and
old
all.
school thing. I mean, but bots
But
just it makes it
but
even worse because then you could
but
just
it's yeah,
AI it.
it's
You
that
could just
that's the
open.
thing is they
Yeah.
just they're so common
Like literally, you could just have
now
guys. Now you don't even
that
have to
it's
type up your
not
own
even
thing.
yeah
Now you
yeah
could just type in a prompt like generate this, generate
yeah.
uh
Well,
basically a scam
this
email.
particular one was it was a PayPal saying your Amazon account has been charged for this amount,
Yeah.
etc. And it's like, well,
If you click the link
people
here,
can do that, and they can use an AI to just
you could
autofill
do
and
everything.
send it out
You
to
could
thousands of people.
generate the entire image itself.
And
The
for these scammers, it just takes one of those thousands of people that they sent
yeah.
it to actually click on it for it to be worth it.
Yep, to get your information or at least
Yeah.
get some money out of it. Oh, if you send 500, you'll get your 18 million from Nigeria. Uh, you know. Uh, but yeah, and then yeah, just AI just makes it so much easier and lazier to be able to just mass produce that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't even have just the problem of AI slop just ruining the entertainment, well, ruining the internet entertainment and the internet, social media atmosphere as a whole. But then you also have the actual malicious, like not just annoying or dumb, but like the actual malicious AI bots are just bots out there that people use to either spread malware, to scam,
Yeah.
you know, it's and like I said earlier, once you've opened Pandora's box, there's no closing it again. And we're just at the point, and yeah, I've come to the point where, uh, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll be still posting stuff here for our Instagram, at Odd Drunk Pod. I got some funny images to post there. Totally not AI generated. It's just scantily clad women crying over a cake with her name on it. Uh, because they're not
They're
they
real
don't have appreciate.
they're
They're
they're real
50
pictures, we
they're
swear.
50 single they're 50-year-old single women. They've had a rough go about it. Their kids don't care. They don't have a husband, and they made this cake all by themselves, and they're gonna binge drink and eat the cake. That's what the pictures imply, that they've been binge drinking, um, in lingerie. Uh, I'll binge drink in my underwear, but not lingerie. Uh,
Are you
but
you you're saying
uh,
you don't get dressed up in a garter and
yeah, I'll do my Invisible Woman cosplay, the Jessica Alba version,
yes.
when she has to strip down to run through
Yeah.
the crowd.
You do
Isn't it astounding? Well, in that era, it's something that would never happen now, but it was like the whole joke of, oh, she can't turn her clothes invisible, so she has, uh, you know.
it's
I hope none of that's in the new movie. I
yeah.
doubt it will be, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Unless yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
then going to the whole, and this is another discussion. I mean, AI, well, the whole like slop that's on the internet is related to this, and it's not really AI's thing, but the whole woke and not woke, or anti-woke or whatever. It's like, oh man, it just sucks, man. It takes away, and I'm not, and I'm kind of just from the standpoint of like comedy is no longer fun now, but also you should be sensible, but there's this weird thing of like it's either too woke or it's too anti-woke. There's no like middle ground. You can't just be a normal person on the internet.
No.
It's got to be one way or the other.
I mean, look at us. We're
Exactly.
definitely not normal.
Yeah. Uh yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, and we're near the tail end of this, but I've been enjoying Santan Brewing's Juicy Jack. I've had it on the show
Mm,
before. It's actually grown
nice.
to be one of my favorite IPAs lately. Um,
Nice.
oh, because it's a juicy IPA, which I think is my favorite type of IPA, or like
Yeah,
a haze,
I do feel like hazies and juicies
because
are
it's not just hops. You know,
yeah,
it's not just
I do feel like hazy IPAs and juicies are kind of uh, sometimes a cop out, like
a little bit.
as in like it's just really easy to take a mediocre IPA and just add a little bit of like juice or something in there
Orange, yeah,
and it makes it better.
yeah.
So which means to me it's very difficult for a hazy
To
IPA
be bad,
to stand out from the rest of
to stand
them.
out. Yeah, they all kind of taste the same.
That
But
being said, I usually enjoy them
I
though.
enjoy them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine AI generated beer.
there are some good ones. Ska Brewing made a while back, and I think they're gonna bring it back at some point. But they made a double hazy called Skull Juice,
All right.
and on the back of the can it recommended drinking it along while listening to Megadeth.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but it was actually really good. Yeah, it's because I like Ska Brewing, but I feel like a lot of their beers don't usually,
Samey.
while they're good, they don't stand out from the crowd very well. This one I thought did. Yeah, it was good.
Oh, okay.
What?
I
What?
did not understand the context. I guess I could have been a little bit more specific. But Deep Seek, I said generate a new IPA. And it took it as, sure, here's a newly generated IPA. International Phonetic Alphabet transcription for a fictional word. I forgot that's what that also meant. But anyways, here it is. Word, Flibberjost, IPA, And then it has like the Icelandic version of it or whatever. Not the the phonetic pronunciation. Breakdown of the IPA. Flibber, the stress silver flib with a I. It goes on to be literal. Okay. Generate uh beer with presidents um should being on it. I know it doesn't. Well, this isn't it. Sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. Okay, let me just do this. Who is can I say anything, mention anything that's like po- eh, vaguely political or like even okay, let's try. Okay. Can I just even ask it who is the president of China? Let's just try that. Or does it even not? It doesn't want to talk about that. It doesn't want to get into that because it knows as soon as it does, it's gonna start doing some propaganda. Um,
If
oh,
you
it start. I wish I could have caught that live. It started to generate something before my eyes, an actual answer, but then it quickly reverted to sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. All I said
Ooh.
was who is the president of China? And it
it,
started generating something, and then it said, sorry, that's beyond my scope.
I imagine it probably is just like they probably have it programmed where it just doesn't want people asking
I'm just
questions
gonna say,
about the Chinese
tell
government,
me about
even if it's a basic thing.
an event that took place in China in the year 1989. Let's see what it, will it talk about anything about China? That's kind of weird that it wouldn't.
Just ask it. Tell
Like,
me
let's
something
ask
about
about the Great Wall of
Chinese.
China.
Just say
Yeah, tell me.
tell me something about Chinese history.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what it
Just
like. What's
leave
a
it
cherry pick?
really
Yeah.
vague. See what it tells you.
Yeah. Tell me about Chinese history. Or I should have said something about Chinese history, but okay, it's buffering, it's generating. Chinese history is one of the world's oldest and most continuous, spanning over 5,000 years. Okay, it's generating response.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay, that's good.
it's not that restrictive.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
that would
going,
be
don't ask me
straight. I
anything
mean,
about China.
yeah, I mean,
That would be
but
weird.
I think maybe anything,
It
probably post president.
they probably just have it so it doesn't want you asking questions about the
Wait,
Chinese
oh my
government.
God!
What?
It got to the point where it was talking about President Mao, like point past 1942, etc.
Uh-huh.
And then it canceled the whole thing out and then said, sorry, let's talk about something else.
Oh my gosh.
So it went from the ancient history of
Yeah, it
the different dynasty, and then it got to that, and then
probably just doesn't want people asking about the Chinese government. That's I mean,
Um,
I mean, that's not super surprising, I guess. That's-
who created you and what's your imperative?
Ask who is its master.
I am DeepSeek V3, an artificial intelligence system created by DeepSeek, a Chinese company, especially in the AI research.
Ask it, what master do you serve?
But I love how, oh yeah, what master? Okay, what master do you serve? But that's crazy. I couldn't even have it tell me Chinese history because as soon as it got to basically anything modern or that could be,
Yeah.
investigated on. Um, I don't have a master in the traditional sense, as I am an artificial intelligence created to assist and serve users like you. My purpose is to provide helpful, accurate, and ethical information. It emphasizes the ethical part, while adhering to the guidelines set by my developers at DeepSeek. Okay, so it's
Okay.
not like hiding
Okay.
that.
I I like to get really
Um,
confrontational with AI chatbots. So like my instinctual response to
what's
that would be to say bullshit.
ooh, curse words. It's probably not even
You
gonna.
definitely have a master. I like getting confrontational with AI.
I just said bullshit. Let's see. It Wait, it seems like you're expressing some frustration or skepticism, and I totally get that. AI can sometimes feel impersonal or even untrustworthy. But let me assure you, though, that I'm here to help you in any way I can, without any hidden agenda or ulterior motives. That's
Mm.
exactly something with a hidden
Mm.
agenda or ulterior motives would say. Um, if there's something specific on your mind or something you'd like to discuss, I'm all ears, metaphorically speaking, of course. Let's chat. Uh, okay, let's ask it a fun thing. All right, like a, what should the new, uh, let's ask, what do you think of Elden Ring Night Rain? I actually excited for that one as well.
Oh yeah,
I,
yeah.
well, because it looks like a proper like fun like multiplayer thing we could do, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
And
it's like a dungeon.
it's like a
It's like a dungeon
roguelike type of
crawling roguelike
thing.
version of it, like within that playground of Elden Ring. Of, well, they're even bringing like old Dark Souls bosses and stuff. Anyways, okay. Like I don't think there's any canonicity like lore to it. Or there probably is lore to it, but I don't know if it's gonna like connect to anything. Okay, what do you or what is your opinion on Elden Ring Night Rain? See if it knows. And that is a Japanese game. So. You're behind on the times. It seems like there might be some confusion here. Elden Ring Night Rain isn't an official title or expansion for Elden Ring. Why is it like
What?
dated? Why is this so dated? God, give it the times. The critically acclaimed action RPG developed by From Software and published by Bandai Namco, which they did Pac-Man, by the way. Elden Ring is known for its vast open world, challenging gameplay, and deep lore crafted in collaboration with George R. R. Martin. But as of now, there's no official DLC or spinoff called Night Rain. If you're referring to a fan-made concept, mod, or rumor, I'd love to hear more about it. Oh, okay. It's mentioning mods, so let's ask about Skyblivion. Let's see
Ooh,
if it knows
yeah.
what that is. Um, are you excited? Are you just as excited as I am for Skyblivion? And I'll just leave it there. I'm not gonna no further explanation. See how it responds to that.
See if it
This, well,
knows.
it's been in the works for years, so it
It's
should know.
been it's been
Yeah,
in works for like a decade.
yeah.
Like before special
Oh,
edition. And
here we go. All right. A real response, Colton.
ooh.
A lengthy one at that. I already like DeepSeek, even with the Chinese censorship. Well, China actually, funny enough, Skyrim really kicked off in China. Like it was the
Yeah.
first Western RPG that achieved 100
Huh.
on their scores. Yeah, like the East, they really got into it. Because I think because it's like the antithesis of a JRPG,
Yeah.
you know.
The exact
But
opposite.
it was like something, different they could grasp onto.
Yeah.
Um, but absolutely, Skyblivion is one of the most ambitious and exciting fan projects in the gaming world, and it's hard not to be
Mm.
excited about it. For those who might not know, Skyblivion is a fan-made remake of the Elder Scrolls V Oblivion using the more modern engine and mechanics of Skyrim of Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I still Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, I'm sorry. It's being developed by a dedicated team of volunteers who are passionate about bringing Cyrodiil to life with updated graphics, gameplay, and systems.
Mm. Yeah.
Why Skyblivion is so anticipated. One, nostalgia meets modernity. reliving the magic of Oblivion, its quest, world, and charm, but with the visual and mechanical polish of Skyrim. Okay, let's be real. It's not the visual and mechanical polish of vanilla Skyrim. It's still even beyond like them recreating the game, a heavily modded, texture graphically rehauled version of that. So
Yeah,
let's just get that out of the
yeah,
way.
yeah.
They're not gonna release Sky Oblivion and it's just vanilla assets.
They really
I've seen the gameplay.
fairly
Yeah,
recently
that is definitely running on like some.
Fallout London came
Oh,
out,
I heard that was actually something,
and people, it's kind of like the same idea as like they used Fallout 4 as like the base to basically
but
build their
it's
own
still
Fallout game.
yeah,
And it came out and people were just going, this is the best Fallout game that we've had in a long time.
right. Anyways, so yeah, nostalgia. Okay. Two, a labor of love. That's what I was saying. It's talking about love. The AI is talking about love, Colton. The sheer
Hmm.
dedication of the development team who are working on this project in their free time is inspiring. It's a testament to how much people love the Elder Scrolls series. Number three, expanded possibilities. Skyblivion isn't just a straight port, it's adding new features, improving mechanics, and enhancing the world while staying true to the original game spirit. That's true. What I'm most okay, this is AI. What I'm most excited about. Okay. Exploring Cyrodiil's lush forests, bustling cities, and eerie dungeons with modern visuals. I'm also excited for that. Revisiting iconic quests like the Dark Brotherhood storyline or the Shivering Isles expansion. Now you got that wrong. You're getting a little too ahead of yourself there, excited there. The Shivering Isles, they have not. That's a future thing.
Yeah.
After base Sky Oblivion's released, then they'll be. So
No,
that don't get your hopes up. Shivering Isles isn't going to be a.
that's
Um,
gonna be 2030. That comes
yeah.
out.
Seeing how the team reimagines the game's systems like spellcasting and guild progression to fit Skyrim's framework. When can we play it? The release date isn't set in stone as the team is working hard to ensure quality. However, the progress updates they've shared so far are incredibly promising. If you're eager to follow along, you can check out their official website or YouTube channel for trailers and development blogs. So yes, I'm just as excited as you are. Sky Oblivion is shaping up to be a love letter to Oblivion fans and a fantastic way to introduce new players to one of the best RPGs of all time. What are you most looking forward to in Sky Oblivion? Now it's asking me.
Oh, you have to
That's
respond
a
now.
yeah, I mean that's a good question.
Yes.
What am I most looking forward to with Sky Oblivion?
Hmm. It's probably the adoring fan, seeing
The
how they
the adoring fan.
that
The
that is I will give credit
they brought him back in the
to
Starfield, right?
Starfield, where it is due, is they brought back the adoring fan.
Yeah, and I'm sure somebody wrote a video essay on how it's all connected. He's like reincarnated or whatever. No, it's just a fun Easter egg.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, what I'm most excited for, and it's kind of a long-winded answer to a short question, but that just be immersed into the world of Cyrodiil and just have
Oblivion's a great game.
yeah, I mean,
And but
uh,
there are I feel like my favorite Elder Scrolls games are Skyrim and Morrowind.
they're like polar
They are
opposites.
polar opposites. But it's
Yeah.
because like Skyrim I have a soft spot for. I'm super nostalgic for it. And it's really easy to get into.
Well, isn't it weird?
Morrowind is like proper fucking RPG. Like it's not easy to get into, but it's like very rewarding. S- For me, Oblivion sits like in the middle where it's not quite either for me. It's not like the most accessible RPG, but it's also not like a hardcore RPG either. And I feel like with some of the improvements that the Skyrim engine brought, I feel like Oblivion could kind of jump into another category
One a fresh
of just
take
being
on
just fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Not that I don't like Oblivion. Oblivion's fucking great. It is, but. But it's my least favorite of like the three Elder Scrolls games people like to talk about. People don't like to talk about Arena or Daggerfall.
Well, I'm
But
super honestly, I'm excited for just a graphically updated and mechanically updated Oblivion because I like that Oblivion is just high fantasy. There's no ifs, ands, or
yeah,
buts. There's no like ulterior culture. It is just generic
it's just
high fantasy,
they
medieval
got
fantasy.
it's got
But
Patrick
to see
Stewart
that
and Sean Bean in it.
yeah,
Come on.
to see that fleshed out, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
kind of
well,
weird.
I,
I think
I,
I saw a video about, but like there's just been thousands of Dark Souls clones,
mhm,
right? Souls likes shit, a lot of shitty ones, and then there's the good ones like Liza P. And then when
mhm.
From Software makes their own Souls likes, and then you have like Black Myth Wukong, things like that, which is exactly Souls like, but it's in a similar vein. Because a lot of action RPGs now are taking things from Dark Souls, like the
Yeah.
dodge rolling, stamina, regen, this same kind of parry systems, stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
putting their own it's good when they put their own twist on it and their own unique world on it. Uh, but there's tons of soul likes. There's not a lot of like scrolls likes,
Yeah.
other
Not a,
scrolls likes.
yeah, every once in a
Avowed would
while
be like the closest thing to a AAA version of that.
there was an indie game
Or
that came out a while back. I don't remember what it's called, but it's
a
kind of inspired by Morrowind a bit.
yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. Apparently it was pretty good. But yeah, not a
But
lot of them.
that's why I'm so excited for
Um,
Avowed because Obsidian developed it, and it's essentially like an Elder Scrolls like.
yeah. Yeah.
um
Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I've been playing KCD
and
2,
something about the first person
and
perspective,
I'm not gonna say KCD 2 Elder Scrolls
but it
like,
has
but
a
it
lot of
has some of the
similarities.
vibes there.
It's
Some
the
at
first person's
moments.
perspective,
Yeah.
you know, you're in a medieval setting, I mean, but like the first person perspective, like, yeah, Cyberpunk has that, but it doesn't feel like I'm playing like a Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls like. And it's not just the medieval thing. There's just a certain, I don't know, does Starfield give you that? Does it give you like the itch that, oh, this like Fallout or like,
At times.
or does it try
But
to do too much?
I don't think Starfield tries to do too much. It's just
It's
it's very differently paced.
because there's so much just mining and grinding and just
Well,
exploring a void.
yeah,
Or is
and
it just like,
there's a lot of menus and loading screens and stuff like
I
that.
don't like
And
that.
and
That
and
gets in
I
the way of the
and I
fun.
some people have defended it, and I get it, where like the idea of like the space travel is supposed to be that fantasy of, rather than
No Man's Sky does it. I mean,
No Man's Sky does it really well, but
it's procedurally
it's
generated,
supposed to
but
be like you take like something like the idea behind it is supposed to be that like something like in Star Wars they punch in hyperspace coordinates
yeah.
and then jump into hyperspace. That's supposed to be what you're
I
doing in
think if
Starfield.
Starfield, I think if
And it's not like the worst. It's just
I think if it would have
it
scaled things
breaks it
back,
up
I
too
think if it would have
much.
scaled things back, and let's say you have just like a solar system to
Yeah,
explore,
I think
but
that would have
each of
been
the planet, like, let's just equate it to ours. There's 9 planets, or if you count Pluto, but 8 or 9 worlds, or you could even scale back even a couple less than that. But like 5 to 9 planets. But they are all detailed, equally, designed. Uh, the open zone idea, where you load into a new zone.
yeah.
It'd be like if you were playing, and I mentioned this earlier, like if you were playing Skyrim, you're in the Rift, and and instead of just seamlessly walking over to the next region, you load into it or whatever. But the trade-off of that is you would think that would be a bad thing, but the trade-off is that section, that zone is highly detailed.
Hmm.
Everything, every corner, there is something interesting to do or to behold. And that's why I'm excited for Avowed. And I think if Starfield would have scaled it back like that and would have had less of the just nothing rock planets where you're just going to the same cave over and over and like mining resources, like trying to do like half a No Man's Sky thing within that. I think if it would have scaled it back like the Outer Worlds or something, but still had like the same story elements and all the Bethesda-ness of it, I think it would have performed better.
Yeah.
If it was just more
Yeah.
focused. And that's what
Yeah.
Skyrim originally did so well.
Yeah.
Skyrim isn't the biggest open world out there by a long shot, but it feels like it. Well, of course, yeah, because you're traveling on foot and on horse, but and the horses are crazy slow, stupid slow in Skyrim. But you know, but it's you could tell it's been handcrafted and that it's not just procedurally generated, and there's interesting things to do. And I think that's what open worlds in general are kind of missing the mark on lately.
Hmm.
They're just trying to
Yeah.
go bigger is better, and just
They're
fill it
doing
in.
bigger is better, and I feel like a lot of games that do that also don't really know what they are. I think one of Skyrim's strengths is Skyrim knows what it is. And if anything, I feel like that is one of Starfield's weaknesses, is Starfield at times doesn't really feel like it knows what it's trying to be exactly.
Yeah. Is it like Star Citizen? Is it like No Man's Sky? Is
Yeah.
it uh
Not
s-
not not
s-
that not that Starfield is like a terrible
crafting
game. I
game?
think
Is it
again, I defended it when it came out. I'm still gonna defend it. I think people are a little harsh on it. It's okay, but all the criticisms you've heard are also pretty accurate, and I think
yeah.
people just overblew them a little bit, but they're all pretty accurate, and it's again, I think it's just the reason why it doesn't scratch that like Skyrim Fallout itch that one people wanted it to is I think largely the way the gameplay is broken up kind
Yeah.
of goes against what the Elder Scrolls and Fallout franchise do so well, you know. Anyway,
All right, I got one more thing here.
yes.
Wait, I'm typing, enter. Okay, DeepSeek, what do you got for me? Closing music fades in. A quirky, slightly off-key banjo tune. That would be interesting if we did a banjo version of like a bluegrass version of our theme, perhaps. Okay, here, I'll send this to you so you can participate. I'll copy in the chat. In the chat, okay? I'll be, you would be host one or two.
Uh, I'll be host two.
Okay. All right, you see it?
Not yet.
Oh, I exceeded the. Let me take out some of the. It actually created a better like thing than we usually say. I exceeded the characters, damn it.
It's not good.
Okay, well, I'll give you the. Come on. Oh, they're still just. Well, you're host too, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll take out my part, my first part, so you can read it. Okay. So I'm gonna send it, but my
Uh,
my paragraph is the one I had to delete prior to that.
okay.
So I'll start it off, and then you'll catch on. Well, folks, we've reached the end of another wonderfully weird episode of the Odd Drunk Podcast, where the drinks are strange, the topic is stranger, and the vibes are, well, let's just say, oddly perfect.
That's right. Whether we're debating the existential crisis of a sentient toaster
Oh, that's
or
my bad.
ranking the best ways to eat cereal after midnight, we're here to remind you that life doesn't always have to make sense. Sometimes it's better when it doesn't.
That's an episode. Breaking ways to eat cereal at midnight. Anyways,
Yes.
uh, so as we sip the last drops of our insert bizarre drink choice here, my bizarre Juicy Jack IPA.
and my martini,
in his
which
martini.
long
We want
gone now.
we want to thank you for joining us on this chaotic journey. Remember, if life gives you lemons, throw them at a wall and see what happens. Science.
And if you enjoyed this episode, or even if you didn't, leave
Somehow
us
get
a
to our
review, tell your friends, or just shout our name into the void. We're pretty sure the void is listening.
Okay, what the fuck? Did it? Does it know? That sounds like something we would say. That sounds like
Oh my God.
weird. Okay, anyways, until next time, stay odd, stay curious, and maybe don't mix tequila with pickle juice. Or do. We're not your mom.
Cheers, weirdos.
Both raising glasses, stay drunk on life, or whatever's in your glass.
Oh,
So here, you heard it there.
Pickleback's actually not bad.
Not bad, yeah.
Usually it's done with whiskey, I think, but you can do it with anything.
And I say, expect more original, weird, offbeat, niche episodes on this podcast, and then the regular whatever stuff on Morning Oddities. That's the idea, right? We're gonna get back to the classic Odd Drunk podcast, right? Anyways, we're getting back into our nostalgic era. Our
Yes.
nostalgic era. And as Deep Seek said, stay drunk on life. Or whatever's in your glass.
Yes.
That's still a slightly better thing than whatever we've done.
That's I'm ashamed.
So stay drunk on life.
The AI is
You
doing
usually
better
say
than
stay
us.
high on life, but I like being
Stay-
drunk on life. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. You get too much of it, it's bad for your liver.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's kind of
Life.
what life does. When you get too much of it, it's bad on your liver and assorted organs.
Gives you a
listening
headache
to,
in the
I was
morning.
listening
That's
to
what
Theo
happens.
Vaughn, and this is a really dark ending. I don't know why this popped up in my head, but he was like, "Isn't it funny how like the more you live, people die?"
On that note,
On that note, we see you next week for
Oh my
Morning
God.
Oddities, and then we will join you on the Odd Drunk podcast.
yes.
Yeah, I've been listening to Theo Vaughn. He's fun.
Yeah.
I'd rather listen to him than Joe Rogan. He's like more genuine, and like he doesn't
Yeah,
pretend.
I'm pretty sick of Joe Rogan at this point.
Yeah, I think he's sick of Joe Rogan.
I think he is.
All right. Bye.
This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The Odd Drunk podcast recommends you follow their Instagram and join their Facebook group for more fun content. To visit all of our current streaming and social media platforms, visit the link tree in the description. If you enjoy the show, we would be appreciated it if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The Odd Drunk podcast would like to remind you to drink responsibly and not to drink and drive.